How's it going, guys? My name is Spencer Ostrowski, and I'm the host of the Delivering Sports Show. Being that the WNBA draft took place today, I thought I'd do a special episode for the Las Vegas Aces, who picked first overall. I want this episode to be about a season preview. I'm going to get my thoughts on the first overall pick, the roster, a wish list, and probably a couple other things. With the first overall pick, the Las Vegas Aces selected Jackie Young from Notre Dame. Strangely enough, she declared for the draft like yesterday, which is a little ass backwards, but nonetheless, so certainly someone who the Aces had scouted previously, and I guess expected her to. Personally, I was hoping they would take McCowan from Mississippi State. I watched almost every game last year for the Aces, and something became painstakingly obvious. The Aces struggled to control a post. The most obvious example is be the last game of the season against Brianna Stewart, who scored like over 40 points. I do feel like some of that was Bill Lambeer's fault, who refused to play Kelsey Bone extended minutes. She's the strongest center on the roster by far, and most of the time she was buried behind Jisoo Park, which makes absolutely no sense at all. The other centers to grab the majority of the minutes was Carolyn Swords, who had a very up and down season. At times she looked like she was walking with bricks on her feet, and other times she was a legit rim protector, pick and roll man. I feel like she played best with the second unit, most notably when playing with Mariah Jefferson when she came back. In any case, I feel like McCowan could have been the player to fill out the roster nicely and solidify Lambeer's defense. At the end of the day, my opinion doesn't matter because Jackie is now the guard of the Aces roster. Taking a look at her final year stats, she averaged 14.3 points per game, 1.5 steals, 5.2 assists, and 7 assists. She shot 37.5% from three-point range, which is best described as very average. Jackie Young was the most efficient player in college basketball last year, and no stranger to filling up the stat sheet, obviously. She became the main ball handler of the team. She will become the main ball handler of the team day one. And since she's good at giving the ball well, it'd be good for the scorers on the team, namely Plum and McBride, giving them the ball in positive scoring positions. So overall, obviously not a terrible pick, just not the one that I was looking forward to. So how does the rest of the roster look? Well, it's probably best to start with the fact that WNBA finally pushed the start of the season back so that international players could be ready for the start of the WNBA season. That was a glaring problem for the league that was finally addressed. So the projected starting lineup for 2019 is point guard Jackie Young, shooting guard Kelsey Plum, small forward McBride, power forward Asia Wilson, and center Swords. And notable bench players, forward Tamara Young, guard Mariah Jefferson, and forward Nia Coffey, and center Kelsey Bone. The first thing that is noticeable on this team is the quality of depth. Mariah Jefferson is a former second overall pick, but with today's pick, it's obvious that the Aces felt like Young is going to take them, be better for them at the point guard position. One thing I'm really happy with is the fact that Young can handle the majority of the pick and rolls with Swords now, because Plum had almost no success in that situation last year. Another great thing about Young is that she's described as being the most selfless player in college basketball, which is conducive to the Aces offense, who sports some very explosive offensive talent. With that being said, Plum has to get more involved in the pick and roll with Asia. That play alone produced so many net positives and should happen at least 10 times a game, I feel like. The defender is put in such a tough position at that point. They can either go under and Plum can shoot the ball, or if they go over, then Asia has the opportunity to roll towards the basket. And then you add in the fact that McBride is on this team, whose ability to score 30 points on any given night, and his team looks really, really incredible. This is a make or break year for Lambeer, if you ask me. I know that he puts people in seats, but I mean, winning could also be really good for the team. They have to at least make the playoffs. They have 3 first overall picks in a row, so the playoffs has to be a necessity. That's what the front office should at least talk to them about. They have to improve their perimeter defense. I'd much rather run teams off the 3-point line than allow them free reign to shoot threes like last year. And last, I wanted to go over my wish list. First, this team has to allow Asia Wilson to shoot threes. She did not attempt a single three last year. She shot nearly 40% when she was in college. So if she could shoot just 35% from three in the regular season, it makes defenses play more honest, and it opens up her ability to drive towards the basket and other slashers like Plum and McBride to get easy buckets down below. Second, I wish that Lambeer would get better at player rotations and matchups. Jisoo Park played way too many minutes against players like Brianna Stewart and Brittany Griner when Kelsey Bowen was sitting on the bench. Also, Plums have to increase a lot this year. And her playtime with Swords on the court has to decrease. While both are individually pretty good, well, especially Kelsey Plum, they don't mesh well together on the court. Lambier put Plum on the bench way too much last year, and when she was on the court, there were a lot of times when she was the best player, so her ability to score anywhere on the court cannot be suppressed. She may not be the best defensively, but she's very active on that side of the court at least. She is the female James Harden after all. Third, the Aces have to attempt more three-point shots. I can't tell you how many times the Aces were playing well, only to be buried because the other team was hitting threes. Last time I checked, 2 points is less than 3. Bill Lambier has to recognize the importance of the three-point shot this year. McBride shot nearly 40% and Plum was shooting near 50%. As mentioned earlier, Asia has the ability to shoot threes, and Jackie Young certainly has the ability to knock a few down. It's up to Lambier to encourage these girls to look for these shots, because this last year it was clear that he wasn't. Last and most importantly, the number one goal for this team has to be trading for Brianna Stewart. The Aces can offer Swords, Mariah Jefferson, all three of their picks next year. Anything really. It has to be the number one priority. If the Aces can get an asset like that to start at center, there's no way they can't lose. They would be essentially guaranteed to win the WNBA Finals next year. Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart as a starting lineup is equivalent to Duncan and David Robinson. Nothing is off the table except Plum, McBride, Wilson, obviously, and Jackie Young, unless their first-round pick is also involved. If they ask for 2 first-rounders, I would accept that in a heartbeat. Keep in mind, there is no such thing as a trade market in the NBA. There's no blockbuster trades in this league. As a GM, you can do anything. So the Aces need to be as ambitious as possible. Other than that, I'm looking forward to another exciting year for the Aces, and I can't wait to bring more coverage. It's my dream to one day be a reporter for the organization, so I'll definitely be working towards that as the channel grows over time. In any case, that is going to wrap up thing for today's episode. Thanks for watching, everybody.